Step 2, Number 1. Working in Japan. Coco is a student whose dream is to live and work in Japan. She's always been a huge fan of anime and Japanese video games, but she's never actually visited the country and wonders what it will be like. Suzu, a JETRO coordinator for highly skilled foreign professionals, is here to help.
Please come to Japan. You'll be very welcome. Currently, there are about 300,000 international students studying in Japan, and about 1.7 million professionals from abroad are working here.
So many! What attracts them to Japan?
Lots of things. Japan has a very long history, and it's also a world leader in technology. This mixture of the modern and the traditional fascinates visitors from abroad. Japan is also famous for being one of the world's cleanest and safest societies.
I've heard from my friends that Japan is a very safe country with clean streets.
And the variety of food in Japan is quite amazing. Japanese cuisine is a big attraction, of course, but there are restaurants here specializing in the food of almost every country. Public transport is among the world's best, serving every part of the country and famous for being on time. Japan is easy to get to from all parts of Asia, so it won't take you long to fly here from your country.
Japan certainly sounds like a great place to live. You've made me even keener to work there. What's it like working in Japan?
No need to worry about that. Japan is an attractive place to work.
Great! Tell me more.
Well, for a start, Japan has one of the world's leading economies.
Wow!
It's a country that's always been known for innovation, and Japan is still a pioneer in cutting-edge technologies and new services in every field you could think of.
It sounds like there are plenty of possibilities. But what kind of opportunities are there for foreigners like me?
Because Japan's population is aging and the birth rate is declining, companies are looking to expand overseas. This means more and more opportunities here for young people like you. Many people from other countries are now working in Japan. The Japanese government encourages people to come and work in Japan, and organizations from local governments to universities are introducing wide-ranging policies to make it easier for foreign workers.
Thank you! I now have a good idea of what it's like to live and work in Japan.
Suzu, the JETRO coordinator, has given Coco an overview of working in Japan. Coco went to JETRO's website for highly skilled foreign professionals, open for professionals. Working in Japan. Here are the main points. Be sure to watch the next step for more detail on industry and enterprise in Japan. Step 2, Number 1. Working in Japan. Coco is a student whose dream is to live and work in Japan. She's always been a huge fan of anime and Japanese video games, but she's never actually visited the country and wonders what it will be like. Suzu, a JETRO coordinator for highly skilled foreign professionals, is here to help.
Please come to Japan. You'll be very welcome. Currently, there are about 300,000 international students studying in Japan, and about 1.7 million professionals from abroad are working here.
So many! What attracts them to Japan?
Lots of things. Japan has a very long history, and it's also a world leader in technology. This mixture of the modern and the traditional fascinates visitors from abroad. Japan is also famous for being one of the world's cleanest and safest societies.
I've heard from my friends that Japan is a very safe country with clean streets.
And the variety of food in Japan is quite amazing. Japanese cuisine is a big attraction, of course, But there are restaurants here specializing in the food of almost every country. Public transport is among the world's best, serving every part of the country and famous for being on time. Japan is easy to get to from all parts of Asia, so it won't take you long to fly here from your country.
Japan certainly sounds like a great place to live. You've made me even keener to work there. What's it like working in Japan?
No need to worry about that. Japan is an attractive place to work.
Great! Tell me more.
Well, for a start, Japan has one of the world's leading economies.
Wow!
It's a country that's always been known for innovation. And Japan is still a pioneer in cutting-edge technologies and new services in every field you could think of.
It sounds like there are plenty of possibilities. But what kind of opportunities are there for foreigners like me?
Because Japan's population is aging and the birth rate is declining, companies are looking to expand overseas. This means more and more opportunities here for young people like you. Many people from other countries are now working in Japan. The Japanese government encourages people to come and work in Japan, and organizations from local governments to universities are introducing wide-ranging policies to make it easier for foreign workers.
Thank you. I now have a good idea of what it's like to live and work in Japan.
Suzu, the JETRO coordinator, has given Coco an overview of working in Japan. Coco went to JETRO's website for highly skilled foreign professionals, open for professionals. Working in Japan. Here are the main points. Be sure to watch the next step for more detail on industry and enterprise in Japan. Step 2. Number 1. Working in Japan. Coco is a student whose dream is to live and work in Japan. She's always been a huge fan of anime and Japanese video games, but she's never actually visited the country and wonders what it will be like. Suzu, a JETRO coordinator for highly skilled foreign professionals, is here to help.
Please come to Japan. You'll be very welcome. Currently, there are about 300,000 international students studying in Japan, and about 1.7 million professionals from abroad are working here.
So many! What attracts them to Japan?
Lots of things. Japan has a very long history, and it's also a world leader in technology. This mixture of the modern and the traditional fascinates visitors from abroad. Japan is also famous for being one of the world's cleanest and safest societies.
I've heard from my friends that Japan is a very safe country with clean streets.
And the variety of food in Japan is quite amazing. Japanese cuisine is a big attraction, of course, but there are restaurants here specializing in the food of almost every country. Public transport is among the world's best, serving every part of the country and famous for being on time. Japan is easy to get to from all parts of Asia, so it won't take you long to fly here from your country.
Japan certainly sounds like a great place to live. You've made me even keener to work there. What's it like working in Japan?
No need to worry about that. Japan is an attractive place to work.
Great! Tell me more.
Well, for a start, Japan has one of the world's leading economies.
Wow!
It's a country that's always been known for innovation. And Japan is still a pioneer in cutting-edge technologies and new services in every field you could think of.
It sounds like there are plenty of possibilities. But what kind of opportunities are there for foreigners like me?
Because Japan's population is aging and the birth rate is declining, companies are looking to expand overseas. This means more and more opportunities here for young people like you. Many people from other countries are now working in Japan. The Japanese government encourages people to come and work in Japan, and organizations from local governments to universities are introducing wide-ranging policies to make it easier for foreign workers.
Thank you. I now have a good idea of what it's like to live and work in Japan.
Suzu, the JETRO coordinator, has given Coco an overview of working in Japan. Coco went to JETRO's website for highly skilled foreign professionals, open for professionals. Working in Japan. Here are the main points. Be sure to watch the next step for more detail on industry and enterprise in Japan. Step 2. Number 1. Working in Japan. Coco is a student whose dream is to live and work in Japan. She's always been a huge fan of anime and Japanese video games, but she's never actually visited the country and wonders what it will be like. Suzu, a JETRO coordinator for highly skilled foreign professionals, is here to help.
Please come to Japan. You'll be very welcome. Currently, there are about 300,000 international students studying in Japan, and about 1.7 million professionals from abroad are working here.
So many! What attracts them to Japan?
Lots of things. Japan has a very long history, and it's also a world leader in technology. This mixture of the modern and the traditional fascinates visitors from abroad. Japan is also famous for being one of the world's cleanest and safest societies.
I've heard from my friends that Japan is a very safe country with clean streets.
And the variety of food in Japan is quite amazing. Japanese cuisine is a big attraction, of course, but there are restaurants here specializing in the food of almost every country. Public transport is among the world's best, serving every part of the country and famous for being on time. Japan is easy to get to from all parts of Asia, so it won't take you long to fly here from your country.
Japan certainly sounds like a great place to live. You've made me even keener to work there. What's it like working in Japan?
No need to worry about that. Japan is an attractive place to work.
Great! Tell me more.
Well, for a start, Japan has one of the world's leading economies.
Wow!
It's a country that's always been known for innovation. And Japan is still a pioneer in cutting-edge technologies and new services in every field you could think of.
It sounds like there are plenty of possibilities. But what kind of opportunities are there for foreigners like me?
Because Japan's population is aging and the birth rate is declining, companies are looking to expand overseas. This means more and more opportunities here for young people like you. Many people from other countries are now working in Japan. The Japanese government encourages people to come and work in Japan, and organizations from local governments to universities are introducing wide-ranging policies to make it easier for foreign workers.
Thank you. I now have a good idea of what it's like to live and work in Japan.
Suzu, the JETRO coordinator, has given Coco an overview of working in Japan. Coco went to JETRO's website for highly skilled foreign professionals, open for professionals. Working in Japan. Here are the main points. Be sure to watch the next step for more detail on industry and enterprise in Japan.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Japan Career Promotion Forum Central Eastern Europe. My name is Miyang Yu, working in Global Talent Acquisition Division at JETRO Tokyo. I'll be your host today. Today, we've gathered to have valuable discussions about living and working in Japan. You can also get a variety of information on latest updates about Japanese companies in Europe and JETRO's support for foreign professionals, as well as voices of Central and Eastern Europe talent working in Japan. To kick off the opening ceremony, Mr. Ichiro Sone, Executive Vice President of JETRO, will giving us an opening remarks. Please welcome Mr. Ichiro Sone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ichiro Sone, Executive Vice President of JETRO, the Japan External Trade Organization. Thank you very much for joining the Japan Career Promotion Forum, focusing on Central Eastern Europe. This is the first time JETRO is organizing such an event for the region. I hope you find it useful. First, I'd like to say a few words to introduce JETRO. We are an international trade, investment, and innovation promotion arm of the Japanese government. We promote bilateral business between Japan and the rest of the world. JETRO has about 50 offices in Japan and almost 80 offices overseas. In the Central Eastern Europe region, we have offices in Warsaw and Bucharest. We don't have an office in Bulgaria, but we've appointed a liaison person there to support our activities. You might be surprised to know that JETRO's Bucharest office has long history. It was established in 1971, long before all of you were born. Central Eastern Europe and Japan are geographically distant and quite different in terms of culture, history, and economy, but I believe we share a common value in a peaceful and prosperous future, and together we can discover new opportunities. Japan and Japanese companies have already made this effect on the world with cutting-edge technology, but there is still room to do much more, especially working together in Central Eastern Europe. Going by the numbers, close to 516 Japanese companies have expanded to the region, and about 4,445 people from Central Eastern Europe are now staying in Japan. I strongly feel these numbers can grow. To do this, the power and passion of motivated young talents like all of you is vital. Working in a Japanese company can offer you opportunities to engage in innovative projects in an international environment, and you can also experience Japan's unique culture and hospitality. Today's forum will have 3 sessions. The first session will highlight the changing Japanese economy, business environment, economic relations of Japan and Central Eastern Europe, and the working environment in Japan. Second, we have a talk session with 4 professionals from Central Eastern Europe. They will share their experience of working in Japan and Japanese companies. Next, 4 Japanese companies will showcase how Central Eastern European professionals are helping them grow their businesses. At the end of our program, we'll also tell you about some events and websites with useful information. I hope today's online event is a meaningful experience for you and motivates you to take the first step towards building your career with Japanese companies. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the welcome remarks, Mr. Sone. Next, I would like to call upon our guest speaker, Mr. Yoshiro Tasaka, Director of Shibuya Startup Support. Please welcome Mr. Tasaka.
Hello, my name is Yoshiro Tasaka. I work for Shibuya city office. We call ourselves like Shibuya Startup Support. We are the divisions of startup support at the Shibuya city, and then it is a pleasure to speak at this event. And then talk about us for those who are interested in Japan. So again, so we are Shibuya City, and then those of you who don't know where is Shibuya, I hope you've been seeing the crazy crossing of Tokyo. That's actually Shibuya. Then we are known as a kind of center for culture, like fashions or like pop cultures, music, any kind of cultures were emerged from Shibuya City. So many young people come to our city. So actually like 3 million people daily visit our city. And then Shibuya is also known as a startup hub, but let me explain a little bit about what's going on in Japan in terms of startups. So we are so behind in terms of startup ecosystem, but last 10 years, rapidly our ecosystem has grown. I've been showing the amount of the investment, total investment annually. It's almost 10 times than 10 years ago. So it's been really growing. And then many investors and then corporate enterprise interested in working with startups now. And then again, Shibuya is a center for startups, and then it's a great location to start your business in Japan, or look for jobs and tech jobs in Japan. So we are home for big tech giants. So we have a Google headquarters, Stripe, Spotify. So they're obviously hiring a lot of non-Japanese workforce as well. So, and then we have 2,000 startups, many VC firms, accelerations. So it's if you are tech talent, I think many companies want to hire you. A little bit about us. We are actually providing a visa called the startup visa, which allows applicants, I mean the holders, to stay in Japan for 1 year to prepare for business. Japan is a little bit difficult to enter. But this 1 year allows you to prepare for incorporation process and hiring or fundraising. And then we will provide also office space for those visa holders. And then we will make sure that you get whatever you need to live in Japan. Like we will help you to find a place to live or get cell phones and a credit card, which is not easy for foreigners, but we will help. We also help you to do the like a POC. If you are a founder, we will help proof of concept with local communities, including cities and then also the corporations. And then we are having a lot of events for foreigners. We basically does events, events for those who speak English. So it's not so common in Japan. So don't worry about that you don't speak Japanese. Here's just our founders. We have so far 35 entrepreneurs from overseas. So it's a small, but it's communities are growing. We've been trying to make regulation changes for foreigners. We're looking for more foreign talent to Japan, and then we have made some changes for the last 2 years. I don't explain details, but yeah, we are trying to make our city better for foreign founders and workers. We have a community called Shibuya Startup Tech. It's a consortium of corporations. We have over actually 190 members, corporate members, and then we can provide networking opportunities through these communities. Yeah, well, again, Japan is growing as a startup country. We have many Shibishis and Ambishis. Maybe Jetro has better information, so I don't go this too far. Yeah, and then also recently we launched English media to kind of showcase what's going on in Japan in terms of startups. It's called the Black Box, blackboxjp.com. Please check out. We release 2 articles every week. You can see that other foreign founders or kind of life, how those foreigners live in Japan. Also, we've been recently launched a company called Shibuya Startups. And then we have a program called Up by Shibuya Startup Support, which is a kind of accelerator for foreign startups. So if you are interested in doing a business in Japan, please check it out. Yeah, I want to skip this, but we've been supporting Web3 activities. Yeah, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can check out our LinkedIn site, find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, I was very privileged to visit Romania in June, and I was a speaker at the Romania Japan Innovation Forum, and then I see a lot of talents, and then also the great startups in Romania, and then I'm hoping Eastern European people come to Japan and looking for job opportunities or startup business opportunities, and Shibuya would like to support those of you who are interested in Japan. So please contact me if you are interested in. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for the informative presentation, Mr. Tasaka. Moving forward, we'll have Mr. Tomohiro Yoden from Jetro Tokyo. He'll talk about Japanese companies in Europe and Jetro support from foreign professionals. Please welcome Mr. Yoden.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tomohiro Yoden from Jetro. Today, I would like to talk about Japanese companies in Europe and an idea of what it's like to live and work in Japan. Then introduce some of Jetro's activities, including intergovernmental initiative called Open for Professionals. Let me share my slide with you. The first chapter is Japanese companies in Europe. Japan is a small island with few resources, and trade and links with other countries are essential to its prosperity. As you can see on the left, according to our survey, more than 80% of Japanese companies want to increase exports overseas. As shown in the chart on the right, there are some 75,000 overseas offices by Japanese companies, and around half of them want to expand their operations abroad. Japanese companies are actively pursuing business with foreign countries. we can see there are many Japanese companies operating in Europe. In Central and Eastern Europe, Japanese companies are doing business and the number is increasing each year. As you can see on the right side, there are more than 1,000 Japanese companies in these 6 countries: Poland, Czech, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. In September 2022, JETRO conducted a survey of Japanese companies operating in Europe regarding their business conditions. 46% of Japanese companies responding to the survey indicated that they would expand their business in Europe. Although we see signs of business expansion and increase of operating profit, securing human resources is a major challenge for Japanese companies in Europe. The next chapter is Japan welcomes global talent. The number of foreigners working in Japan has grown significantly over the last decades. Although growth has been slow over the past year or two due to entry restrictions imposed by the corona pandemic, more than 1.8 million foreigners are currently employed by Japanese companies. As of December 2022, the number of foreigners residing in Japan reached a record high. The number has exceeded 3 million for the first time. In fact, on the other hand, we face many challenges. The most serious of these is a lack of human resources for overseas business. Many Japanese companies hire Japanese people to take charge of their overseas operations, while 23% of companies want to hire foreigners, according to our survey. Procedures for foreign nationals working in Japan are being improved. The time required for application process for foreign IT engineers is expected to be shortened to 1 month starting this fall. The current length of the application process, which can take up to 3 months or more, may be reduced to as short as 1 month. The next chapter is JETRO's support for highly skilled foreign professionals. On our website, useful information is provided for Japanese companies and for foreign professionals, respectively. This is our website in English. Information is also available on our social media like Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. We have around 20,000 followers on Facebook. We have created videos introducing foreigners working in Japan. The video series, Enhance Your Career in Japan, introduces many examples of professionals' careers in Japan by place of origin and industry. These videos are created for the purpose of giving people outside Japan an idea of what it's like to live and work in Japan. And here is a list of its information on companies interested in global talent. We call this the OFP list, which is an acronym for Open for Professionals. You can easily search for companies using multiple criteria online. anyone can contact the companies directly. Currently, this list contains approximately 360 companies in English. This is an animated video Work in Japan Starters Guide aimed at overseas personnel interested in working in Japan. It introduces the attractiveness of life and business in Japan, as well as the methods and necessary procedures for finding a job in an easy-to-understand sequence. Finally, the last chapter is visa and status of residence. In order to enter and work in Japan, a status of residence is required in addition to visa. Visa is a kind of recommendation to enter Japan, and a status of residence is permission to stay and work in Japan. Here's a summary of the steps you need to take to get a job in Japan. First, look for a job. Then you receive a job offer from a Japanese company. The Japanese company applies to the Immigration Bureau for a certificate of eligibility. Then you request a COE from the Japanese companies. The COE is required to apply for a visa. Once you have your visa, you can travel to Japan. An immigration of arrival airport in Japan, you will receive your residence card. I would like to introduce two statuses of residence that are relevant to highly skilled foreign professionals. The first is the Jinkoku, engineer, specialist in humanities, international services, and it is a long name. It is abbreviated from the Japanese acronym Kijinkoku. The second option is point-based system. This preferential immigration treatment is only for highly skilled foreign professionals. Points are awarded for each of the following categories, such as education, work experience, annual income, etc. Preferential treatment is available if the total score is 70 or more. I'd like to finish by thanking you all for your attention. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Mr. Yoden. You gave us broader understanding about Japanese companies doing business in Europe and various support offered by JETRO. Up next is a talk session focusing on working and living in Japan. Without any further delay, I would like to turn over the floor to Swastik, moderator of this session.
Thank you very much, Myong. Hello, friends. I am Swastik Kulkarni from Global Talent Acquisition Team at JETRO Tokyo. I welcome you all in this talk session. During this session, we will be talking about working and living in Japan. Today, we have invited 4 panelists. 2 are based in Japan, and the other 2 are joining from Poland and Romania. I, on behalf of JETRO, would like to sincerely thank our panelists for taking out time for this session. I'm sure that their precious experience will add immense value to this session and will enhance the knowledge of our young participants from Central Eastern Europe. I'm really looking forward to talking to our panelists and knowing more about them during this session. I would like to start with a round of introduction. To begin with, can I request Eva to introduce yourself?
So hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Eva, and I'm talking to you from Japan. So a little bit about myself. I came for the first time to Japan as a MEC scholar, which is a Japanese government scholarship to do my master's. My background is mainly in computer science and natural sciences, and I will be from next year staying and continuing part-time to do my PhD here and part-time to be as an employee of a Japanese company. So you might wonder, I do speak Japanese. I basically took one first semester was in English of my master courses, and then from my second semester, everything was in Japanese. So it was a bit of a cold plunge in the Japanese speaking world, but it was manageable. I mainly learned on my own. I did not have a teacher, so it was doable, and maybe some of you will have a similar story of coming with not that much knowledge, or in my case, I've learned hiragana on an airplane when I was coming already to Japan. So nice to meet you.
Thank you very much, Eva. Moving on, can I request Daniel, please? Daniel, you're on mute, I believe.
Thank you. Yes, I knew that. Hi, everybody. My name is Daniel Ratiu. I'm from Romania originally, from the town of Brasov in the middle of the country. I graduated from Transylvania University back in 2001, economic studies, specialized in international business transactions. And in 2002, I basically moved to Japan for a postgraduate scholarship with MEXT or Mombusho. I did my master's at Sapporo University between 2002 and 2005. And then from 2005, I moved to Tokyo to work for different companies. My hobbies are karate. As of recently, I started to do karate again after 23 years. Driving, and outdoor activities. I'm married, with one kid, so obviously family time is my biggest hobby, to say so, at least for a while. I work at Fujitsu Limited, and I'm in charge of customer strategy in the CRO office, which stands for Chief Revenue Officer. So we are supporting the Chief Revenue Officer of full Fujitsu at the global level. In terms of Japanese food that I like, it's not necessarily healthy, but it's ramen, the noodle soup, yakiniku, the Japanese style barbecue, and obviously shochu, to go with it, which is a spirit made of sweet potatoes for those of you who don't know. Places I enjoy or like in Japan, obviously Hokkaido, in the island of Hokkaido, where I spent 3 years, back in the day, and Mount Fuji, the symbol of Japan. I do speak Japanese fluently. I got my Enshu before I came to Japan, actually, in 2001. And I learned it mostly on my own, in the sense that I did not attend proper Japanese language studies. But, just to add, my town of Brasov is a sister city of the town of Musashino in Tokyo, Japan. So back in the 90s, there were cultural exchange programs, So Japanese teachers used to come for 3 months a year initially. So that helped a lot, That's it about me. Nice to meet you all, and looking forward, to learning more about you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Moving on to Bartosz. Can I please request to introduce yourself?
Good morning, good afternoon, and thank you for having me today, and that you gave me the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about my experience. I'm Bartosz, studied logistics in Poland and economics in Japan for 1 year. My wife is Japanese, and I have also experience working with colleagues from Japan, and currently I'm working in a Japanese company based in Poland. When it comes to hobbies, I'm amateur athlete, as I really think physical exercise really helped me staying sharp. My biggest love from Japanese cuisine is soba, and when it comes to place, every Japanese countryside. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now moving on to Dragos. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Dragos. I'm 38 years old, and I come from Brașov, Romania. I completed my academic journey here in my hometown of Brașov, graduated from Transylvania University with a degree in engineering. After graduating, I had the opportunity to work at E&M Japan, and since then I'm working in the company. Outside of work, I really enjoy sports, particularly football, watch a good movie, spend time with friends and family, as well as I like to travel and explore new places. Speaking of travel, when I was in Japan, I really enjoyed places like Miyazaki, which is a combination between mountains and sea, Tokyo with its vibrant energy, and my favorite of them all is Kyoto, which for me it's a blend of old and new. About Japanese cuisine, I like sushi, katsudon, and chicken nanban are some of my favorites. In Brasov, I had the chance of learning Japanese language and culture at the Musashino Cultural Center, as well as from my Japanese coworkers at the office. I have an N5 language certificate of Japanese language. While this certificate shows that I have a basic understanding of Japanese language, I really want to learn more, and I'm currently learning more about Japanese language. Thank you very much. Everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your introduction. I must say that each one of you has a very unique and a very interesting background. So going forward, based on your background, I have created some questions for all of you. And again, I would like to start with Eva. Eva, you mentioned that you have traveled to multiple countries till now. So how do you find living in Japan? Do you find anything unique about Japan?
Definitely. And I think living and coming to Japan also gave me a lot of opportunities. So the photo of me that you saw in the introduction is actually during a cultural exchange that I did in Mongolia with my Japanese friends. So you can see that the landscape is not very Japanese, yet the yukata is very Japanese. So I think this is something that I found very interesting. First of all, that the Japanese people are very interested in what's out there in the world. In your own culture, and that there's opportunities to explore different cultures, including the Japanese culture. And I think something that is really special about it is that you can see that, first of all, I think Japan has a perception from the outside that it's a very clean and proper country. And I think this attention to detail can be often seen not only on the streets, but in the Japanese style gardens, in the way university campuses look like. So I think this is something that I really appreciate them for, that everything is very well maintained and very aesthetic.
Thank you. Yeah, I also second your thought that it's in Japan, it is highly systematic, and then at times you really fail to understand whether it is the humans who are managing or is it the machines that are managing the entire facility. So I completely agree with you. Thanks for the answer. Now moving on to Daniel. Daniel, you also have a very interesting story to tell, and you mentioned that you have been living in Japan for almost now close to 20 years, and you have also kind of built your career in this country. So I think including me, our audience would like to know what are those reasons which kept you attached with Japan for such a long time.
Sure, very good question. Yeah. So, I mean, what brought me initially to Japan, was the interest in obviously the Japanese language, Japanese culture. Back in 2002, I was doing like Japanese calligraphy, shodo. I was doing Go, the game of Go. I actually established the club of Go in Japan. In Brasov. So that's good. And I came here, I lived for 8 years, and at some point, I also had some personal reasons, family related. I had to go back, and I was away from Japan, between 2010 and 2013. And while being at home and, doing various jobs, I got a chance to realize, what I really, really want. And I wanted to return to Japan, which I did in 2013. So what brought me back, literally in Japan, I think the order of things that we can find here, in the society, the cleanliness, that Eva mentioned as well, it is important, And then the society as a whole, I think, just fits me, I'm in sync, let's say, with the Japanese society, especially after I had spent here 8 years, initially. So, and the politeness, not only of the ordinary people, but when you, for example, go and need to have some documents issued, you deal with the bureaucracy. Yeah, it's totally different. And I like it here. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Daniel, sorry, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt
Yes,
you.
please.
Because you mentioned that you were in Japan, then you had a 3 years break, then you came back again to Japan. Are you planning to stay forever, or are you planning to go back?
Yeah, remains to be seen, I think. It all depends. I mean, my wife is Japanese and our kid is 4 years old now. So it all depends on him, how he will integrate as a mixed race, kid here. And if we feel like, we would be better off overseas, then I will make that step, for the family. So personally, yeah, I would like to enjoy it here. I mean, forever, let's say. And after I retire, maybe spend the summers in Brasov, where it's cool, and easy to live, and the winters here because Brasov is too cold, right? So yeah, remains to be seen.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Daniel, for the answer, and thanks, Bartosz, for your question. I was in fact about to ask the same thing, so thanks for asking the same question. Now moving to Bartosz, now it's your turn. So you mentioned that in your introduction that you came to Japan as a student and you studied for almost 1 year in this country. So I think I would like to ask you, like, why you chose Japan as a destination for your education, and when you were kind of confused, or you were considering other countries, which were those countries which you kind of thought of going for further studies?
Sure. So I will start with the answer for second question. I really didn't consider any other countries than Japan for studying. From the beginning, my goal was really clear and straightforward. And to be honest, all my actions during my life were completely focused on achieving this goal. And here is when I will go back to your first question, why I chose Japan as my destination for education. Because basically I had 2 goals, study in Japan and work in Japan. Now, why? Many people are concerned about working hours in Japan, or that there is a really big social pressure. But I always approach it a little bit different, because why not to be a master of your craft? This is my question to myself, right? This is all about dedication and hard work, and Japan is a perfect place for someone wants to become more than average and wants to achieve big, let's say. And during study in Japan, I have met a lot of people who are completely focused on their goals, and it really matches my personality. Thank you.
Great. I think your mindset completely matches with the Japanese way of thinking, being very focused, very systematic. So I think you made a very right decision of coming to Japan and studying in this country.
Sorry, Bartosz, to interrupt, but I have a question for. Do you consider in the future to move to Japan, to stay there?
Yes.
Are you planning this?
Sorry for us answering really shortly, but yes, this is the plan. Also, same as I was focused on doing everything to come to Japan for studying. Now I'm focusing completely on going to Japan for work. So, short answer is yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Glad to know that, Bartosz, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you in Tokyo. Great. Now moving to Dragos. Dragos, you have mentioned that you have worked in a smaller city called Miyazaki for almost 3 months. So, and then also you're kind of still learning the language. So, how was your experience of living in Miyazaki, and did you face any challenges while communicating with the local people?
Yes, so as you mentioned, in 2011, I had the opportunity to work in Japan for about 3 months. It was my first experience outside Europe, and the cultural difference and the language difference was notable. During my short stay in Japan, I immersed myself in the Japanese working culture, and it really left a profound impact on me. I witnessed the hard work and dedication of the Japanese people, and this experience not only enhanced my technical skills, but also taught me the importance of delivering high quality work to keep the project deadlines and upholding the promises made to clients. For me, it was an invaluable experience that continues to influence my approach to work and business relationship to this day. Yes, despite the potential language barrier, as Japanese people not speak English fluently, I felt the worth and the hospitality of the Japanese people, and that made me feel welcomed in their country. Also, I made meaningful friendships during my stay, and I'm grateful that many of them continue to be a part of my life even today.
Nice to know that. In fact, just to share with all of you and with our audience that there are a lot of smaller cities in Japan which are in fact trying to attract foreign professionals like Dragos you. And I'm sure after listening to you, our audience would definitely consider working in smaller cities of Japan and not confined to say cities like Tokyo or Osaka. Great. Thank you so much for your answer, Dragos. I'll come back to Eva once again. Eva, you mentioned that you have learned Japanese on your own, which I speak Japanese, but I did not learn my own. I went to a Japanese language school. But I would like to know from your experience that did you find it difficult to learn the language? And also, do you think that it is necessary to know the language to work in Japan? What are your thoughts on these things?
So I think it's a very interesting question, especially tying it to what Bartosz said before, because in contrast to Bartosz, my plan coming to Japan was not as well planned. It was not as long in the making. So oftentimes I joke that Japan chose me. It was not me choosing Japan. But I think over time, we kind of made it a common decision. And obviously learning a language is part of it, because when you don't plan as well, long-term, you come very unprepared. But this also actually paradoxically, I think, helped me. So when I arrived in Japan, it was still during COVID pandemic. It was the time when there were very, very few foreigners, and a lot of, I think that the society was not set in the sense that there's a lot of foreigners right now. So it was not catering as much as it is right now to the non-Japanese speaking population. So that gave me definitely a very accelerated learning experience. And I think the way I learn it mostly is through immersion. So I loved watching different TV programs and trying to write down the kanjis. So I mentioned before, I did 1 semester in English at university, and then I signed up for all the courses in Japanese, trying to survive. So I printed all the notes. I spent a lot of time trying to understand what is being said in the lectures, even if my understanding was very low at the time, but that helped me to accelerate. So even if you're not in Japan, I'm pretty sure you can reproduce my experience to a certain extent if you listen to maybe podcasts, if you look into what Japanese TV has to offer, even if you watch it on your laptop or computer, I think that is doable. So I just tried to immerse, and I was very hungry to get as much Japanese knowledge as possible, because once again, it was the time when nothing was catered to English-speaking audience because of pandemic. It's definitely a different environment right now when the borders are open and the country is very much internationalized.
Very nice. Thank you. It's very exciting to know your journey, how you learned the language. So, I mean, including our audience, I myself is very much inspired, and I must thank you for making your positive comments. And rather than encouraging our audience to learn the language and ensuring that yes, they can learn on their own also. So all the best to you for going for your future. And now moving to Daniel. Daniel, again, my question would be with regard to your experience of living in Japan. So, you have seen Japan of early 90s, and now you are seeing Japan of early 2020. So, what kind of changes you have experienced, or what kind of changes you have observed in Japan?
Sure. And sorry for switching camera on and off. My kid is
that's fine. Absolutely fine.
Moving around here. So that's right. I did get the chance to experience, the Japan as a society, in the early 2000s. But to speak of the more recent, period, especially of the last 10 years since I returned here, 2013 to present, I did actually notice, a steady change of perception towards, foreigners and internationalization. And that's both in the society as a whole, as well as my current place of work. And I work at Fujitsu for 2 years and a little bit, so that's short. But to be honest, I already experienced 3 or 4 different departments, within this period. So obviously working with different people on different topics. And the statement doesn't change, especially Fujitsu is obviously going for diversity and inclusion and globalism because they realize that is the only way to move forward. And yes, for comparison, the initial 8 years, 2000 to 2010, were not so international, but still, I was a student, a foreign student, ryugakusei here, and I enjoyed it, basically. Things were exciting for me, and coming to Japan, after graduating university on my own, obviously, I was experiencing a whole new world, and also fully enjoying it. So yes, that is how I see the change.
Very nice. And in fact, of course, I have not lived as long as you, Daniel, but I also see, I've been seeing Japan from past almost 10 years now, and I also see a major change. And I think this is a country which is opening up gradually, and then more and more, usage of English is becoming quite common in this country. So thanks a lot for your answer, Daniel. Now coming back to Bartosz. Bartosz, you have experience of working with Japanese colleagues, and I would like to get your thoughts about the cultural differences. Do you think that is there any cultural difference between Japanese people and particularly with the Eastern Europe? And then if yes, then how do you handle it?
Thank you for this question. And once I heard that Japan is the most extroverted of the introverted countries, and if you open to them, they will open to you. And now only from my perspective, partnership is the most important from my perspective, because if you want to decide something or change anything, you need everyone at the table. Everyone. So in Western business culture, let's say we have many decisions made by 1 or 2 people. However, if you know more opinions, more points of view, for example, it's more likely to choose the best option possible if you consulted everyone. Next thing is that you have to remember that people are different. So it really depends on the person if you will feel really big cultural differences. So it is really important to treat everyone individually. And one more thing, if you said that you will finish something or do something, always do this no matter what, because reliability is same important for me as a partnership when it comes to cooperation. Here, particularly with Japanese colleagues.
Well, I think you have done a very in-depth analysis of Japanese culture, and I must also say that it's more of teamwork rather than individual contribution when it comes to Japan or Japanese company. So, thank you so much, Bartosz, for your question. Now, moving on to Dragos. Dragos, usually there is a notion that one must learn Japanese language if he or she wants to work in a Japanese company. I would, and since you mentioned that you have still been learning the language, but despite of that fact, you have completed almost 15 years in the present company. So how has been the experience? What are your thoughts? That is it necessary to learn the language to work in a Japanese company?
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, Japanese people might not speak English fluently, so that can pose a communication challenge for those who don't know Japanese. In my own experience, I'm engaging in email correspondence as a daily basis with my Japanese counterparts while using English from my end and Japanese from theirs. However, through the use of translation methods and with my help with Japanese coworkers that are speaking English, we managed to bridge this language gap and understand each other effectively. Also, during the meetings, there is always a Japanese person that speaks English and who will ensure the discussion and communication went smoothly. While challenging, I firmly believe that this language barrier can be overcome through mutual efforts to learn Japanese, from my part, and English from my Japanese coworkers. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, thanks. Now, what about Bartos? What do you think? According to you, is it like necessary to learn the language? What are your thoughts on that?
I would say it depends, because there are many international. I mean, there are international companies where you can use English. However, there are still many companies where Japanese will be mandatory, even if people also speak English there. Even if it's good advantage, if you speak Japanese, if you want to work in Japan and you speak Japanese, please think about any other skill on top that you can develop, because here I will give you the fact. In Japan, around 125 million people speak Japanese. So it's really important to have something on top, not only speaking Japanese, but have some outstanding, let's say, even skills or something original, let's say, you can do.
Yeah, I think you have brought a very important point, Bartos, that, apart from learning the language, there should be something extra that you should bring on the table that should be appealing to the, to the companies. So thank you so much for this wonderful piece of advice. With this, we have almost come to an end of this session, and I must thank all of you, Eva, Daniel, Bartos, and Dragos, for your wonderful answers. But before we conclude this session, it will be really great if you could give a message or a piece of advice to our audience. And this time, I would like to begin with Dragos. If you can deliver your message, please.
Yeah, sure. To all the people that want to experience life in Japan, whether for study or for work, I have just one message: do it. You won't regret anything, and it will be nothing less than life-changing. Beyond Japanese beautiful landscapes, amazing cities, or fabulous food, rich traditions, lies an even more profound treasure, which is the character of the Japanese people. Your time in Japan will undoubtedly transform you both professionally and as a human being. So for those who are considering this journey, I say with all my heart, embrace the opportunity and let the beauty of Japan and the work of its people enrich your life in ways that you can't yet imagine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very nice. Just do it. I think it's the key word from you. And I think we all are quite motivated with that. Thank you so much, Dragos, for the message.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Now, moving to Bartos, may I request you to give your message, please?
Yeah, I also wanted to comment a message for Dragos. I really liked you said do it. I really agree. I really agree with this message, and it also corresponds with my message. I have with one of my message. I have two actually. So one is if you really want to work in Japan, focus on it completely and plan all your life according to the goal. I know it might be a little bit extreme, but if you really want it, focus on it. Put all the time in it. Second, invest in yourself and in knowledge and skills. This is the best investment, always. Thank you.
so much, Bartosz. Now moving to Daniel. Can you please give your message?
Sure. I mean, on the one hand, I would like to say, think, with my mind of now, 40, almost 5 years old, think well of what you want to achieve in life, and make a decisive leap because Japan, as any other country, has both good and bad points. But at the end of the day, as both Dragos and Bartosz said, it's okay if you just want to try it, Japan for a short time and see if you fit or not. And by the way, Japanese language, I think you need to know it, to some extent, it's definitely needed. So it's okay if you want to test it, see how you fit, but don't let this testing period last too long. Set a deadline like 2 years or 3 years to it and see how it goes, and then reevaluate yourself and your life. Yeah, that's my message.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. Now moving to Eva.
Such a tough job, I think, after all those messages. But
I think something that I would add on top of that testing period, I think coming with curiosity and actually taking, just documenting your journey through one way or another, all the learnings. I think having something to look back towards, what were the moments, the little cultural similarities and differences that maybe you discovered, but things that you discovered about yourself along the way. I think they will be both very useful if you want to reevaluate it, if that's the right place to be in life for you, but also something that will show you how much learning you've made, whether you do it in Japan or somewhere else, but hopefully Japan. I think it's really, really nice to see every day how much it's taught you.
Very nice. Thank you so much. I must say that, all of you should have been my mentors when I was starting my career, because your thoughts, your experience has at least, made a lasting impression on me. So thank you so much, everyone, for your motivating messages and answers. It has been a real pleasure, talking to each one of you. And I'm sure our audience has learned a lot about various aspects of working and living in Japan, as well as the cultural differences. And to sum up, from my side, I would like to say that Japan is opening up in a big way for foreign skilled workers. And today's event acts as a testimony of that fact. And Japan is also known as the land of rising sun, and it is also the land of ample opportunities. I, on behalf of JETRO, look forward to welcoming all of the young aspirants to Japan at the nearest possible. Thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, Swastik, and thank you so much, Eva, Daniel, Bartosz, Dragos, for sharing your interesting experiences in Japan. In the next session, we have invited 3 companies and startups interested in skilled professionals from Central Eastern Europe. So with that introduction, I would like to call upon Mr. Arai, CEO of Simple Easy, as our next speaker.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Yuta Arai from Simple Easy, and I am here today to present my company. Let me share my screen to show the slides. All right. So let me first briefly introduce my company with this short video. So this video can be explained better than me about Simple Easy.
Simple Easy Incorporated was founded by Yuta Arai back in August 2020 in our headquarters in Shibuya, Tokyo, Japan. We have developed many software products with the help of programmers all over the world. Currently, we work with colleagues from various countries such as the United States, Canada, China, India, Jordan, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines, and Brazil. We are still searching for colleagues in many more countries and will continue to expand our reach. Our goal is to be a bridge connecting programmers and companies worldwide and helping people around the world with the power of software and solving various challenges worldwide. Let's make your life simple and easy. Simple Easy. Simply Z.
Okay. Right. So I hope you all like this video. Our company tagline is like, let's make life simple and easy, simple easy. Okay. So let me go to the next slides. Okay. So let me explain a bit more about Simple Easy. So we are based in Tokyo and have a team of around 20 to 30 members and established in 2020 August. And it's been 3 years already, but still really obviously startup company. So this is my background. I was born and raised in Fukuoka. It's a western side of Japan, and I moved to Tokyo when I went to university. And after studying electrical and electronic engineering, I joined education IT startup in the Philippines as an operation manager. So in this role, I managed a team of more than 700 local staff, probably, and realized that I can work with people from diverse background. So after building few years of experiences, I moved to Serbia only 4 months to launch a new base. And after that, I came back to Tokyo in 2020 and found my company, Simple Easy. So let me go to the next. Yeah. So this is our diverse team. Unlike many companies in Japan, we have a very unique team as we gather talents across the world. So we have many countries, like diverse members. But this is not only engineers, I mean software developers. We also have a sales team and back office team, QA, the backing team. So yeah, we work together with one team. And also, like, yeah, we can provide visa sponsorship to our team members if they need and if they want to come to Japan. So also, like, we are planning to branch out in various places around Japan and assign people in those branches. So hope we could work together. And this is our tech stacks. So we mainly use JavaScript and TypeScript with agile development. And also, like, other language we use, like sometimes we use PHP and Python, and sometimes Swift and Kotlin. And many libraries as well for the framework also, but we mainly use React and React Native, and for the backend, Node.js. Yes. And if you work together with us, we can give experience to learn those tech stacks and like these languages as well. Yeah. This is like our career path. And also this is what we envisioning for the future. This is like our future vision. The first one, develop and localize our product across the world. So we want to not only develop, but also sell our services and localize across the world using language compatibility and our extensive like network. And we also want to establish a global community that could help with our first vision as well. And now we have like our YouTube channel, Discord community for the making communities. So please join us and please subscribe us. Yeah, we are providing good like info and tips and companies like updates and information to all like subscribers and members. Yes, this is YouTube channel QR code. So please camera on and read this QR code and subscribe us. Right. Okay, thank you very much for listening. We will join the job fair in Poland, Bulgaria, and Romania it's like a tech job fair on October. So we will join that one. So hope like I could see you all. And before October, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. Our email address is here, info@simpleeasy.jp. You can also call anytime, yeah. And this is like our the homepage website. I mean, company's website. So I am looking forward to meeting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Arai. Next, I would like to call upon Ms. Tsuchida, CHRO of AWL.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Mina Tsuchida, and I would like to present our company, AWL. Let me share my screen. Okay. So our company name is AWL. We established the company in 2016 as a Hokkaido University startup. Hokkaido is actually the northern side of Japan, and I myself graduated this university. We started from several members, and right now, in these 7 years, we grew up to 90 members. We have our office in Tokyo and Sapporo, Hokkaido, the northern island, and also Vietnam, and also India as well. Right now, we have like more than 30 clients and partners working with us, and these are the main companies we're working with. Also, we have a lot of like collaborations going on with universities, and hope we can collaborate with new universities in new regions as well. As I mentioned, we started from 2016, and we have grown so much like this. And we're right now on the Series C stage, and hope we can have more opportunities in the future. Our mission is to see more than our eyes can do with our technology to improve the customer's satisfaction, and especially in retail business. We started from Japanese supermarkets with our technology, and we're ready to grow. So what do we work with? Our main technology that we work with is Edge AI. So we do the analysis on the edge. So we have a lot of technology and know-hows on the hardware side and also the software side as well, especially in the cutting edge AI field. Our strength is that we have the AI specialists and the operational technology as well. And these can provide one-stop solutions to many customers all around the world. Right now, we have 2 packaged products. One is called the Owlbox. This one, by using the existing cameras, we can turn these cameras into Edge AI cameras and provide tailored solutions to the customers. The other one is a lighter version of this Owlbox, and we are able to provide AI analysis service with Android applications. For this one, right now, we are aiming for 3,000 stores this year, and almost around 10,000 license is going to be spread out into the Japan market. And by these packaged technologies, we were able to gain more cutting edge technology. And we work with AI vendors that used to be maybe the competitors, but right now we provide technology to them as well. And we do almost everything that you can imagine in the store. And our strength, this is a real store, and this is underneath our lab. So if you work with us, you have the field you work with, and you have the lab upstairs, and you can work on the real things that are going on with your ideas. This is our team. We have a very international team. Almost more than 20 nationalities of the backgrounds we have, and 4 offices all around the world. So we can work together in this excitement. And the main thing is that our communication language is mainly English. And you can also have the chance to learn Japanese as well. So by our technology and what you aim for, you can see more of the future that we didn't imagine before. So if you are interested in our company, please contact us and let's discuss more to be able to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Tsuchida. Finally, I would like to call upon Ms. Alexandra, Head of Global Delivery Center of Fujitsu Technology Solution, as our final speaker.
Thank you for the introduction. Global Delivery Center Poland, part of the really truly global organization. We are a Japanese company, so focus on the quality, but as well on people. If you aspire to become a high-class techie specialist, regardless whether it's a service desk support, service management, application, infra-based or project management or cybersecurity specialist, join us. We do serve for the European customers, private and public sector, but as well we work with the high-class Japanese expert and Japanese companies, which is quite interesting experience. Try to think what would you like to do, because from the day one, when you join us, we do encourage you to choose your own career path, to really raise your aspiration, and we are really happy to observe people who are growing amongst the years from beginner up to the really high-level specialist. What we can offer? Variety of the program and variety of the certification, as well great in-hand experience. And as I mentioned, this Japanese experience is something unique on the market. And it's not only about manga, it's really about Japanese culture, focus on the quality. So something quite unique, which I'm really personally enjoy a lot. Explore our job advertisement, try to think what will fit your aspiration, and join us. I'm waiting for you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arai, Ms. Tsuchida, and Ms. Alexandra, for showcasing the opportunities in your company. So before we conclude this event, I would like to introduce upcoming job fair event organized by Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, Government of Japan. So let me share my screen. So this is the outline of Central and Eastern Europe Tech Job Fairs, which will held in Bulgaria, Holland, and Romania. So it'll be a unique opportunity to engage with top-tier Japanese entrepreneurs, discuss potential collaboration, gain insights into their job market, and even stand a chance to win a trip to Japan as well. So highlight your skill and explore the world of career possibilities tailored for Central and Eastern Europe candidates. Please check out the website for more details and for further information. These links are also available in the description section on YouTube page as well. Add to that, for all upcoming events and job fairs, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. So here are the QR codes. Please scan and start following from today. We already have approximately 25,000 followers on our social media, so please be part of our community and stay tuned for upcoming events organized by JETRO. So friends, thank you very much for staying with us till the end. I hope you've gained a lot of insights about living and working in Japan from our wonderful speakers today. So we would like to hear your feedback for today's event. Feedback form link is mentioned in the description section on YouTube page. Please do check out a moment to fill the form. Once again, on behalf of JETRO Tokyo and our presenter as well, thank you so much for joining us today. Bye.